Hello, I'm Liv and welcome to my YouTube video. I used YouTube for quite a while, years ago now, and I've decided to come back to YouTube. I think YouTube is such a great channel for storytelling, for long form content, and in an age of content where we're all exhausted by flicking through things, I thought it'd be nice to come back. I've been using TikTok quite a lot recently, and I think TikTok is great. And a lot of the TikTokers I like are also using YouTube. So I was like, do you know what? I'm gonna restart my YouTube channel. And in this video, I am going to be talking about books that I've recently read and saying basically whether I liked them or not and if I think you should buy them. Okay, so I've recently joined a library and I've been picking more and more library books. I'm trying to set myself a target of reading not loads, but like 2-3 books a month. And before I go into my kind of like library book chat monthly, I wanted to share some of the books I have read in the last few months. So my first one is this book, The Panic Years by Nell Frizzell. I have to say, I absolutely loved this book. I think every person, particularly women, that's all types of women, should read this book. I think it's absolutely incredible book. I really enjoyed it. It basically is about the years that I feel like I'm going through or I'm about to be going through, kind of like late 20s, 30s, about career, relationships, fertility, babies, things like that. I absolutely loved this book, and I think it's a great read for anyone. It's also really comforting. I think the reason I love this book so much is because there was so much relatability in it. So I absolutely love this. I don't know what to kind of call it, but it's my kind of book. It's very kind of touching. It's kind of like a memoir. It's just really lovely. Highly recommend this book. I absolutely loved it. It made me feel very heard and very seen, and to be honest, that's kind of what I look for in books. Yeah, absolutely adore this and highly recommend. The next book, completely different genre, is Community is Your Currency by Daisy Morris. I don't know if this is back to front because I'm filming on the front of my phone, but yeah. Okay, so this book is all about harnessing and building online communities. So a little bit more of a business book, but absolutely incredible. I love everything that Daisy does, and I think this book is an absolute testament to her knowledge, her expertise, and also like her as a person. It's definitely not a boring book. It's fun. It's got also loads of really interesting people. It's really lovely like layout. It's got genuine actionable tips. If you are interested in social media, if you work in social media, if you work in marketing, if you want to build your own community online, I highly recommend this. And it doesn't read like a business book. It's a really nice read. So yeah, highly recommend this. The next book is Not That Kind of Girl by Lena, Dunham. I did really like this book. I read it a little while ago now. I think this is my oldest book that I'm going to be talking about. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was really like witty, it was really funny. Again, it's the kind of book where you feel it's quite relatable and it kind of holds you throughout the read. I really enjoyed it. I do think there are certain chapters in it that I kind of brushed past, that are not brushed past, but there's like maybe not whole chapters, but certain areas of the book, certain sections. Like she has quite a big area where it's like emails I would have sent. I don't know if I could find it now. There's pages like this which are funny, and like they are really funny, and they're absolutely great, but yeah, that's the only like negative thing I have to say about this book. Like a few of the pages, I was just a bit like, I kind of want to get more into like the story, and I don't know, I do think this has some really, really interesting topics, especially about growing up. I thought was really interesting, and kind of dealing with mental health and also obviously like physical health. So I thought this is a really, really interesting book. This is very much my type of book, this next book. Tell Me the Truth About Love, 13 Tales from Couples Therapy. I don't know if anyone has seen the actual, completely different but similar vibe, the documentary called Couples Therapy. There's a few series. It's absolutely incredible, and things like that completely captivate me. I'm so into psychotherapy. I'm actually attempting now to kind of train to go back and do my master's in psychotherapy. So I love anything like this, anything that talks about therapy, or the brain and love and everything like that. I thought this was absolutely fab. Obviously it's quite a small book, so it's quite an easy read, it's quite a fast read. I thought this was just absolutely great. Essentially it's a psychotherapist, pretty sure, that had couples in, or kind of she kept hearing the same things over and over, and obviously she's not used this specific like case studies, but it's basically each chapter is like a new couple, and it just kind of talks about their sessions and how it went, and kind of what the progress with that therapy was like, and how we can all take bits out of what each couple kind of learn, and how we might be able to apply it to our own lives. I thought this was a really amazing book. This is maybe not the most like popular book, but I thought this was so great. I absolutely love this. And now I'm going to talk about a book that I did not like, that I got in an airport on a holiday, and it's called Why Has Nobody Told Me This Before? And I thought it was going to be great because it says on the back, these are the tools I share in this book are mostly taught in therapy. They're not therapy skills, they're life skills. So I thought this book, it's massive. It's only massive because the writing is massive. I thought this book would be really interesting and really just like cool, like interesting to know about, kind of useful. I thought there'd be tips in here of kind of like how to improve your life, and there is, but it feels just a little bit vague. Like I like to kind of deep dive a little bit more into how the brain works and why things work a certain way, and this I thought was a little bit of just a brief overview of how you can like improve your mental health. I don't know, some of it was really interesting, but a lot of it is kind of like this. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't know, maybe that's a bad example because that's actually quite interesting, but I just think some of it, for example, like this, there were like little summaries on each chapter, and it says like, chapter summary, get distance from anxious thoughts by labeling them. Remember that even when anxious thoughts demand attention, you can control it. Kindness turns down the dial on our threat response. And I just thought quite a lot of these things were fairly basic, and I really wanted to learn more than what was in this book. So I didn't really enjoy this. I know this at the time was up in all the airports and probably still is. But I felt a bit like let down by this book. I don't know. Maybe that's just I mean, these are all personal preferences, but I would say there are better books about therapy and self-help and things like that out there, and it also wasn't like an enjoyable read. To absolutely counter that, I want to talk about this book. I read this book years ago for the first time, and I have actually recently noticed that I've been picking it up a little bit. I reread a few parts like a month ago. This book, The School of Life by Alain de Botton, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, is an incredible book. I absolutely love this book. It goes in depth, and it's basically about everything. So I don't know if we can see, yeah, so the chapters are self, others, relationships, work and culture. And yeah, I just think it's called An Emotional Education, and I think it truly is. I really enjoyed this. I just think it's great, and I think in the modern world that we live in, and whether you, especially, I read this initially when I was living abroad, and I felt really lost, and I read it and it just helped me figure things out. And I think if you're in any kind of point in your life where you feel like you should be doing something different, or you feel like you're not on the right track, or you don't know where to go, or you feel, I don't know, just kind of like a little bit almost like stuck or a little bit behind, this is the book that you should read. I think it's absolutely incredible. Really enjoy this book. So yeah. Anyway, I feel like I've been talking about books and just saying, yeah, I like this, yeah, I don't like this, for a while. But yeah, they're all the books that I have kind of read recently-ish. I'm going to start doing series on the library books that I pick up. These were standouts over the past, few months when I read them. So yeah, that is my book review of recent books. If you like this content, please do follow, share, find me on TikTok, find me on Instagram, all of that good stuff. And I'm going to start potentially popping little vlogs on here as well, and kind of just easing myself back into YouTube. It was a platform that I really used to love, and I obviously fell out of love with it, and I want to start creating content again. Also, I just think YouTube's such a great platform, and I think the community on here is absolutely fab. So yeah, pop us a follow, and do let me know if any book recommendations you guys have. But I've definitely been kind of forcing myself to sit down on a night and read rather than watch TV, or I get into bed now and leave my phone downstairs and just read, and it's something that I definitely want to do more of. So I hope you enjoyed these little reviews, and maybe you'll get some of these books.